All right, so this is decimals, multiplication using compensation strategy. So this is one strategy of many. In another video, we'll show you how to do the shortcut, and that links directly to the compensation strategy. So let's do some examples. So let's say I have 94.5 times 2. Now, one of the things that we want to do with the compensation strategy is to make this a friendlier number. Make it something that we already know how to do. Well, we know how to do regular multiplication. So what we want to do is to be able to make this a whole number. Well, what do we have to do to 94.5 to make it a whole number? We have to move the decimal to the right. Do we already know a rule for that? Yeah, that's the powers of 10. So we know if I multiply 94.5 by 10, I'm going to move the decimal point over here. So now it's 945. It's a whole number. It is much more friendlier. Now, I can do this because we've already practiced this type of multiplication with whole numbers. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. So 1,890. Am I finished? No. Why? What did we do here? Well, we multiplied by 10. So what we had to do to compensate for that is to do the exact opposite. We have to now divide by 10. So now these are even. They've canceled themselves out. Well, what's 1,890 divided by 10? Well, we know powers of 10. Division moves to the left. So now it becomes 189. And I'm just going to write it down again, nice and neat, so that is the product is clear. So why are we doing the compensation? One, to make it friendlier, something that we already know how to do. And compensation is all about making sure it is even. If I borrow $10 from you, I have to pay that back. If you borrow a pencil from me, well, you have to give that back. You have to compensate it. So let's try another example. So let's say I have 85.2 times 4. Okay. Well, let's make it a friendlier number. So 85.2, I want to move it to the right. So it's a whole number, so I have to multiply that by 10. Okay, so now I can work on this like I've done before. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry the 2. 4 times 8 is 32. Plus 2 is 34. Why am I not done? Well, I have to do compensation. If I multiplied by 10, I have to do the exact opposite. I have to divide by 10, and now they are canceled each other out. They're even now. So divide by 10, division moves to the left, and there it is. So my new number is 340.8, or 340 and 8/10. This really comes in handy when you're multiplying decimal by decimal. So let's say I have 0.36 times 0.4. Okay. Well, these are both decimals, so it looks much more complicated. But let's use the power of compensation. So I have to move this 2 spaces to the right. So that means I am multiplying it by 100. Powers of 10. Well, this is still, the 0.4 is not friendly, so I want to make it friendlier. So I want to move it 1 to the right, the decimal point. So that is a times 10. Now this all works out. 4 times 6 is 4, carry the 2. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So I have 144. Am I done? No, because I haven't compensated yet. So here, what I did was I multiplied by 100. So what's to compensate that? The exact opposite. I have to divide by 100. Here, I multiplied by 10. So I have to do the exact opposite of dividing by 10. So now they're going to be even. So we know powers of 10. Divide by 100, move it to the left twice, but I'm not done yet because I still have the divide by 10. So I move it one more to the left. And now it's all fully compensated. And now I'm going to redraw it just nice and neat and clear. So decimal 144. Let's try it one more time. Let's say I have two decimal points. So let's say 0.3. Okay. So the compensation works beautifully here because, again, it's making it friendlier. So I have to move this 1, 2. So that is multiply by 100. Move it to the twice again. So that's multiply by 100. And now I know how to do 32 times 13. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. Now, since I'm working in a tens place value now, I have to add a 0. 1 times 2, or 10 times 2, is 20. 10 times 30 is 300. So there's my 300, because that's in a 300 place value. So I add it all together. 6, 11, carry the 1, and this is 4. So I have 416. Am I finished? I hope you're saying no. Why? Because I haven't compensated. So here I have multiply by 100. I have to divide by 100. And here I multiply 100. I have to divide by 100 again. Okay, so divide by 100, moves to the left, 1, 2. I'm done that. And I do like to show my work by crossing it off, so I can tell, I can be organized and say I've done that. Well, I still have one left over, so I'm going to do 1, 2. Okay, I have an empty place value here. So how do we show an empty place value? What's the symbol for nothing? 0. So I'm going to write it down over here just because it's difficult to, I'm running out of space. It's 0.0416. And that's decimals multiplication with the compensation strategy.